Retail Deals, Adventure and Travel's latest challenge is to do every railway service in the UK. Hello, I'm Jonathan. Welcome to a new railway service today. Today we are going from Wemyss Bay over to Port Glasgow, stopping off there before we catch the train over to Gourock. From Gourock we use the Glasgow Central to Gourock Service on a Class 380. The line is electrified. Port Glasgow is on the banks of the Clyde and it is near the M8. Port Glasgow has a strong shipping history and used to be called Newark. Just like the Newark in Nottinghamshire, it also has a castle. The railway line opened in 1841 and is on the Inverclyde line. There is a junction to the west to Wemyss Bay and also to Gourock. They run parallel for several miles. The Gourock line has several tunnels in Gourock. The line was extended to Gourock in 1889 by the Caledonian Railway. The Gourock line is double track. It was fully electrified in 1967. There used to be a paid platform at Port Glasgow to serve Wemyss Bay for extra coaching stock. And it has a frequent train service by ScotRail.
We are now approaching Gourock Central. Please mind the gap when alighting from this train. We are now approaching Gourock West. Please mind the gap when alighting from this train.
So on our way to Gourock. Few tunnels along here, lots of stone walls.
Now approaching.
It's a nice building.
Port Matilda. Please mind the gap when alighting from this train.
The line terminates at Gourock. Gourock has a strong and long history of steamer ferries, especially across to Dunoon and Kilgreggan. On the station there are lots of images and displays showing the history. There's several pictures showing the steamers from the past. Quite nice actually. There's also a covered walkway over to the ferry terminal. So there used to be a covered glazed roof on the station, but this was all demolished, along with the hotel and other station buildings. It went into rapid decay. Then they spent a lot of money on the station in between 2006 and 2012 and created the toilets, the ticket machines, the entry foyer and that walkway as I mentioned earlier. there's a half-hourly service to Glasgow Central, and the ferries go to Dunoon and Kilcreggan. I will enclose a link in the description that will show the full history of Port Glasgow and Gourock.
Fort Matilda, Greenock West, Greenock Central, Cartsdyke, Boxton, Port Glasgow, Bishopton, Paisley Gilmore Street, and Glasgow Central. The next stop is Fort Matilda.
So, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I caught the train from Wemyss Bay this morning over to Port Glasgow, got off the train there, over the footbridge, and then caught the train from Port Glasgow to Gourock via Greenock. So after Gourock, I then caught the train to Glasgow Central. It stops at a few stations to Port Glasgow, then becomes an express. Unlike the Wemyss Bay train that stops at all the stations, the Gourock trains tend not to stop.
We are now approaching Port Glasgow. Please mind the gap when alighting
So
from
as
the
you
stream.
can see, the Gourock to Port Glasgow to Glasgow Central line goes along the Clyde. So there's frequent views of the motorway, the River Clyde, and the craggy outcrops. And then further along, you cross the runway near Glasgow Airport.